and we can jump to the complex ones, the complex workflow. So this is one of the workflows we made that is doing a dynamic web app scanning, basically. You also don't need to worry about what is happening if you're using it from the library. You just need to change a web application or change the root, the web application you want to test. And what this workflow does is a bunch of stuff. I will try to explain as much as possible. But like in the beginning, it is just outputting the string to file. So you can just use it as a file input to different tools. And then this one is getting the web apps. And I had an idea that you can expand it here and just add like 100 web apps or something like that. But to be honest, I didn't test it yet because it is doing a lot of stuff here and it can take a while. And here it is getting all of the JavaScripts with get.js and then using the mass link finder to get all of the paths. And in this case, as we are using, this is the vulnerable application that you can like use to practice. It already has a lot of stuff like cross-site scripting, like SQL injections and that kind of stuff. So you can immediately test it out. And that is also how we are building the workflows. If we can find all of the vulnerabilities in this app, we can probably find all of the vulnerabilities in the other apps based on our technique. So it is getting all of the paths from JavaScript and then verifying those paths exist. The nodes are exited out because no input is provided, because no JavaScript was found. And that's fine because the workflow will continue to work. On the other side, it is using Go to get all of the URLs from Wayback Machine and the archive org and that kind of websites. Also, it is getting custom word lists. So in this here we added one list for all short, leaky paths, and one list for all micro. But of course, you can expand it with your own lists. So it is getting all of the files, cleaning the word list, and using FAF to brute force only for files in this case. Up there, it is getting all of the directories and then brute forcing only for the directories. So basically, this part is also doing the verification of those Wayback URLs, but just also requesting the paths and using Katana to spider all of the URLs. So finally, we are using a bunch of scripts to verify that those files are there, those URLs are there. So in this case, it's like this. And all of those have their status codes. So here we have all of the responses, and we intentionally made the responses so we can check the responses, but also we created the output.txt. So it can be used for the next nodes. In this place, we are using the parameter brute force, and maybe we can speak about those, like what are the best ones. Maybe the community have the better ones. Or some of the techniques to get all of the parameters, because we made this pretty easy just to brute force parameters, but I guess the more techniques.
Which one are you using? Can you zoom in? So
In
you
this
see
case,
everything.
Aryun, which is pretty good, but I was thinking like what kind of maybe additional techniques could be there. Maybe we can expand this workflow to get all of the words from the web app, and then create a custom parameter word list, for example, and then brute force it with the custom parameter word list. It's not currently in the workflow, but we are trying to also improve them and get them back to the store. So back to the workflow.
Nenad, if I can stop you for a second, we have finally the first question in the chat, which says like this. Maybe you want to answer. What web scanner do you run? Akunetis is included. Is there more? Is all the information downloaded as images, or is some kind of report generated?
Basically, the reports are up to the user. Like users could create any kind of reports with the script nodes they create. So some of the workflows we have will show you just like a JSON file of web servers, or will get you the zip files with all of the screenshots, or will get you just one file with all of the stuff, or it can get you all of the outputs inside of the same node. So basically, the we don't have any kind of like official reporting in place that we get the data and we have some sort of dashboards and tables. And the idea is that you can be flexible when building the workflows as much as you want and to create any report you want. You can also check our Trickest bot, for example, which is one of the examples of the report, and everything here is done inside of the workflow. So basically it is randomly picking up the bug bounty targets, doing the recon or subdomain scan, creating this cover image with Python, as you can see here, and then deploying the web application for the users to dive into it. So basically the script made this path and push it to the GitHub repository and deploy the app so you can access
So
it and see it.
for people that doesn't know what Trickest bot is a Twitter bot that you can actually ask inside Twitter to search for subdomains of a domain, and it will generate this nice web page that Nenad just showed us.
Yeah. So like the answer could be like, I don't know if it's clear enough answer, but for example, if you want this kind of report, you can create it inside of the workflow.
Yeah, I think it's important to add that the goal of Trickest is not to give you workflows and give you reports. The goal is to give you the option to create your own workflow. So you can create your own report, you can use the tools you want, and you can use the scripts you want. It's not going to say you should use. It's not going to say you must use the workflow. But hey, here is a workflow. Just create it for yourself and create your stuff. There is another question saying, is there any chance in the future we can integrate Akunetics in workflows?
Mm-hmm. So currently we commercial scanners, but basically we can think about it. Maybe we didn't like did research on Akunetics and see if they have an API integration or Docker images which could be used. But of course, basically, in a nutshell, any kind of command line tool could be integrated. So if we can make Akunetics or any kind of scanner work in a command line, that can be drag and dropped as a node.
Yeah, exactly. And if external platform, and I say because of my experience, if an external platform has an API, you don't even need to depend on triggers to create a node. You can actually create a custom script and contact the API, start the information and everything. But also the technical support, I need to say, is awesome, and they usually take less than a day to create anything you need. So one other question, people is cheering up with questions. That's great. How much average time this dynamic web app scanner will take to complete for a single domain, for a single web page, I guess. For example, testphp.boolweb.com. I think that's the web you showed just before.
Yes. So in this case, it was running on 2 medium machines and it finished in 40 minutes. So basically, if it's on large with 2 machines, it will be a bit faster, like 20 to 30% faster. If it is on 5 medium machines, I think it can finish it in like 10 minutes or something like that.
Okay, so but this one took like 4 minutes. Yeah.
40 minutes, yeah.
Okay, 40 minutes. Okay, that's not that bad. You can grab a cup of coffee and come back for the results.
Yes. Do you have more questions, or should I continue?
This is just this is just actually a sentence that we just said. Like there is a script using Akunetics API. We are talking a lot about Akunetics actually. Using how can I add this to my workflow? Well, you could just add a custom script as Nenad has shown before, and add a script just in your workflow. I don't know if you want to add something else to that question.
Yes, like scripts are the way to go. Like you can make anything with it. You can if you don't know Bash, you can use a script template which has like a small Python script, and you can just write Python in there and execute it with Python if you want.
Cool. Let's continue with the workflow because we are halfway.
Okay. So now, like as we brute force all of the files, verified all of the Wayback Machine and everything, we have finally all of the URLs which are which are found in that web application. So to be honest, I started like initially to create just a cross-site scripting finder, but like it took me like I just want all of the vulnerabilities to be found.
Yeah, I can see that.
So basically we are using here GF, which is basically a tool where you enter the JSON. I can show you that JSON actually, which is basically filtering out the URLs for a suspectable cross-site scripting parameters, and we are using it a lot in this case. So here it will filter out all of the suspectable cross-site scripting URLs basically. And what is like the most kind of tricky thing here is that we use Splitter to replace all of our payloads which are supplied in the beginning. So basically in the beginning of the workflow, you can provide the payloads you want this workflow to test for the cross-site scripting. So for example, sometimes payloads like this just don't work, but some of the payloads which are bypassing firewalls, for example, or which are doing that string escapes cross-site scripting does, could actually provide you with the reflection. So you can dynamically change all of those payloads to see if the application is still vulnerable, or if you didn't find any results, you can change the payload to check it out. And let's go back to the QS replace. So basically, QS replace will get just the string. I will not speak about the splitter node because like we don't have much time, but basically Splitter could execute also in parallel, and this will execute in parallel. So basically it will get those two payloads with Splitter and just add the payload for cross-site scripting directly in all of the values of the URLs filtered by GF, basically. And finally, we have like a template, which is a YAML template for Nuclei, where we just have the placeholders where the targets will be and where the payloads will be. And it will generate the template based on those stuff. So it will generate that base URL and then add all of the payloads, and at the end get you, there is a lot of URLs. So at the end it will get you all of the matcher conditions and basically add it as you change the payloads. That's for the cross-site scripting, and for the other stuff it's kind of the same. For SQL injection, we find all of the URLs. Then we have the template, which will in this case, it will try to find error-based SQL injection and create those payloads, and again generate the template which will add which are used from the payloads in the beginning, from the SQL injection payloads. For the local file inclusion, SSRF is kind of also the similar. It will just add interact sh URL in the all of the URLs and create a template and wait for the actual request back to the interact sh URL or any kind of URL you provided for the open redirection or SSRF. Local file inclusion also, it will just add all of the payloads for getting the local file inclusion, and also you can add as much of those payloads as you want, because like sometimes applications have a bunch of paths in between, so you don't go to the root. So basically you can expand this with more. And and also like remote code execution is there, which is generating, which is trying to put server to sleep with a bunch of string or shell escape payloads, and again creates a template which at the end it's waiting for the sleep of equal or over 5 seconds. And at the end, it will copy all of the templates generated, run a Nuclei, and get all of the vulnerabilities.
So the real question for this template or for this workflow will be, which vulnerabilities did you find?
To be honest, I haven't used it a lot. I just created it for the library. We will see. Like I will try to like my main idea for now for this workflow is that these word lists are pretty big, I can check how big they are, but they have like 11 megabytes.
Yeah.
So if you supply here all of the web servers, then it will run FAF for quite a while. So I don't want to be like too intrusive on the infrastructure, of course, but also I want to get results as fast as possible. So probably I will like in the beginning just what's also kind of interesting is that you can change the run name, so you know what kind of application you tested.
Okay.
So basically, I can just say this is my scan for this app, and now I can change it to any kind of another app. Or I already executed it, so I will not get back to it. But basically, you can customize your own kind of reporting with the runs.